If you are a Tesla owner in North America, then odds are for the past month of April, you've been able to try out full self-driving for absolutely no charge at all. That was the case that my wife and I experienced in our 2023 Model Y long range. And today I'm going to tell you why we won't be purchasing full self-driving, and it starts right now. If you aren't familiar with full self-driving, it's basically Tesla's flagship autopilot operation that you can select in the control panel of the vehicle. Does things like automatic lane changing, navigating on autopilot, start and stop at traffic lights, so many things. It sounds futuristic, actually pretty darn cool on the surface, but in reality it's got some flaws, and we're going to kind of talk about that today. Now, to highlight some of the other features that come with full self-driving, you have summon, which is basically that the car is going to be able to squeeze out of a really tight parking space. Think you're going to a concert and you park at a parking garage and two crazy terrible drivers box you in. You just hit a button on your phone and that car will creep its way out of that parking space. Smart Summon allows you to hail your vehicle from a parking space and have it come and pick you up at a selected location. Think about this. You're getting out of the barbershop. You got your do all done up. It's raining. You don't want to make a mad dash to the car and get that nice haircut all wet, soggy and frizzy. Nobody wants that. No, just pull out your phone, open up the Tesla app, hit Smart Summon, and hallelujah, it comes to you. That's a really cool feature. Did we use it? No, because we live out here in the country and that's not really applicable for our situation. Yeah. One thing that we did use a ton of was auto park. It was very, very handy to use the parking both in perpendicular and parallel situations. It's a little bit slow, but very reliable, and it gets you so close to the curb and you don't have to worry about scrubbing your rims. Okay, I like that. I don't want any damage, any curb rub on my wheels. Auto steer on city streets is another function of full self-driving. Now, because we live out in the country, we don't have city streets. So we used auto steer on the country back roads. And let me tell you, that's not something you want to do. That was a very scary experience. I'll get to that a little bit later. Now, there are a few other minor things that I'll touch on a little bit later in the video that are incorporated with full self-driving. But for right now, we're going to talk about what we liked about full self-driving. As I mentioned before, we use the auto park feature a lot, and this thing is awesome. Fits you perfectly in that space. Now, we don't have a ton of use for it out here where we live, but if you lived in the city and you didn't like parking, that auto park feature is fantastic. Another thing I really enjoyed was navigating on autopilot as a part of the full self-driving experience. You basically put in your destination through the address bar on the main screen, tap the drive stalk down, and away you go, and the vehicle will navigate to your destination. And it's especially helpful on those long road trips when you're trying to open up your road trip snacks, okay? Used to be you're trying to open up your bag of pretzels and you got to like take your knee and, you know, hold the steering wheel as you're trying to open up your bag of pretzels. And that's not the case here with the Tesla and the full self-driving. You don't have to do that. Vehicle takes over. You can open up your bag of pretzels and enjoy your snack. Nice. Part of that navigating on autopilot is also the automatic lane changes. This is really cool, and there's a couple of ways that the vehicle does this. With the lane change, you can either initiate the lane change yourself if you tap down the turn signal, either left or right. The vehicle will make a motion towards the center line, make sure there's no vehicles behind you, and then proceed to switch into the adjacent lane and take off. Or if you're navigating on autopilot, the vehicle will automatically lane change if it's coming up on a vehicle that's traveling slower than your set speed. Make the lane change, speed up to the set speed that you have listed, and then navigate back over into the existing lane that you were in before you had to pass that car. So it basically passes the car ahead of you for you, which is really cool. When it does this, it's a little scary for the first time because I noticed that the vehicle migrates over towards the center line of the road to kind of, I guess, see if there's any vehicles in that adjacent lane, and it weirds you out because if there is one over in that lane, you almost feel like you're going to get so close to it that you're going to scrape it, but that's not the case. The vehicle's very intuitive and it will look to see if there's a vehicle there. If not, it'll make the lane change and proceed. Now, with full self-driving, you have the ability to choose your driver profile, which is really cool. They give you three options. There's chill, average, and assertive. I've tried it on all three of the options and found that really there wasn't a huge difference assertive, you're going to follow a little bit more closely to the car in front of you, and you're going to make more lane changes if you have some slow drivers in front of you. Chill, not so much, okay? You might have to sit back there behind somebody who's doing 45 and a 55, maybe for a minute or two before the car's like, you know what? This person's not speeding up. They're probably opening up a bag of pretzels. We're just going to go ahead and pass them and move on forward. So that added layer of customization is pretty neat within full self-driving. Now here's what I didn't like about full self-driving. Full self-driving, or FSD, is not very smooth, and here's what I mean. Let's say you're cruising along at a set speed of 55 miles per hour on the highway. As you're cruising along, there's a speed limit change and it drops to 50 miles per hour. Well, the vehicle recognizes that speed limit change through the external cameras that it has and abruptly slows you down. So if you're eating your pretzels, you know, you're munching on your road trip sundae, and that car automatically slows you down, that sundae's falling in your lap, and that's not good. I think Tesla needs a software update to change how abrupt that slowdown is from, 55 to 50 miles per hour. I mean, it feels like, woo, it throws you forward, and you can tell. It's not a gradual decrease. There should be a coast from 55 to the new speed limit. I think that would be a much more pleasant driving experience. Now, some of you may be saying, well, whoa, Boondock, what about changing the driving profile? What if you went from assertive to chill? Would you still have that same abrupt change? The answer is yes, because I tried that. I thought about that, guys. I did, and I changed it, and it was still abrupt, okay? Obviously, everybody has a different driving style. Some people may appreciate an abrupt change to get right at that speed limit as fast as possible, while others would appreciate a nice gentle coast into that speed limit, so that way the movements aren't so jarring while you're driving. Kind of freaks you out the first time it happens. Now, I mentioned how much I liked the automatic lane change, especially with navigating on autopilot. Makes those long distance road trips a dream. However, on a couple instances, I tried to change lanes by using the turn signal selector, and the Model Y went to the center line, looked, there were no vehicles behind me because I made sure of that, and then it creeped back over into the lane that I was riding in. I'm not sure why that happened, if that was just some oddball occurrence, or maybe the Model Y felt like it wasn't a good time to make the lane change. I don't know why, and I didn't like that. When I issue a command to a vehicle, I want it to complete that command unless there is some safety reason behind it, and there was none that I could see at that time. Now, to be fair, I did not use every aspect of full self-driving like summon or smart summon. They're just not applicable where I live. However, the absolute biggest issue with full self-driving is that it's not full self-driving. It's supervised. You've still got to be present in the cabin with your eyes focused on the road for the majority of the time. Tesla uses the in-cabin camera to monitor eye movement to make sure that you're not looking down at your phone, playing a video game, opening a bag of pretzels for longer than, say, 30 seconds. You're going to get a warning on the screen that says you need to apply a slight turning force to the wheel just to make sure you're still alert and focused on driving. That's a reality of full self-driving. Happens in basic autopilot as well, although I will say in full self-driving it wasn't as frequent. Now, having to make those constant little adjustments to prove that you are actively paying attention to the road even when you look down for a moment is a bit of an annoyance, and at this point full self-driving just hasn't reached that level of autonomy, at least that I'm comfortable with spending $8,000 on, or $99 per month, which that is one positive to this whole trial run. They did lower the cost of full self-driving for a one-time payment of $8,000, or a monthly based subscription of just $99 down from $200. All in all, I'm grateful to Tesla for allowing Tesla owners the opportunity to try out the bells and whistles of full self-driving, and I do appreciate the experience. However, I really enjoy the experience of driving my electric whip, and for those long highway road trips, basic autopilot does the trick. If you guys want to see what it's like to road trip a Tesla Model Y long range, then click this video right here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.